Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Monday and happy June. Does it feel like it's been a while since we've live streamed? It's actually been about a month because we missed Memorial Day. So it's so great to see everyone here today. We're really looking forward to this. We were just talking last night how we've really missed it, and we're really looking forward to seeing all of you here today. So welcome. So glad that you're here today. Hope you are doing well. And we are excited about today's live stream. We've got a fun live stream planned for you. We are getting ahead of the heat by talking about garden rescue, how to save your veggies from triple-digit temperatures. And I know some of you are already there. So drop in the chat, what's your temperature today? Has it already hit triple digits? Or are you sitting somewhere around the 80-degree mark, which we're actually pretty cool here this month. I think it's around 80 degrees. So we have Monterey here in the chat. We have our moderator Nisha here. And of course, camera guy there in the control room. How's it going inside there, camera guy?
It's going good. It's good to see everyone again. It does feel like it's been a long time. We just appreciate y'all. We're so glad to see you all here again. We've got a great show for you today and things to come as well. But let's take a minute and say hi to who's here, huh?
That's right.
Okay.
And make sure if you're new today too, and it's your first live stream, let us know. We're so glad that you're here kicking off your June garden with us. So
right.
We have V here, and she's in Texas, already into the triple digits. And I know they start early in Texas with the heat. So V, I hope you're hanging in there and staying cool.
Now, Erica, I believe I'm reading that name right. Erica is also from Texas, and she was saying 98 degrees there. Yesterday was 101. I've said it before, but Texas gardeners and Florida gardeners, I just respect you guys all for how you garden in that heat out there. I don't know how you do it.
It's tough. It's a long gardening season, long hot one there.
Yep.
Oh, we have Tristan here. First live for Tristan. So Tristan, welcome. So glad that you're here. Let us know where your garden is. And got Monterey Lawn and Garden. Always good to see you all here. Yes. So don't forget, if you've got those pest disease control issues, which I'm sure we're all starting to get those, make sure you drop a question in the chat and Monterey will help you with that.
Yep. Good to see you, Jennifer. Hi. Nice to see you. Clayton, hi. Let's see, Ultimate Gardener, good to have you. You've been pretty regular here on the live stream, so thank you very much for coming. We hope you enjoy it.
90s in South Florida, too.
Yes. Catherine the Artist, good to see you. And I've just realized that I have the wrong glasses on. So this is very hard for me to read the text, so I'm going to change glasses.
Okay, Jerry has special computer glasses because he spends so much time editing. They look exactly like his normal glasses, but they're very important to have when he's on the computer. So let's see. Better, Jerry?
Yes.
Great. And I know San Diego, Trish P in San Diego might be a little bit cooler there in San Diego. And I know Southern California people, we have what's called June gloom. It happens every year. So typically like we had a really hot spring and then May and June is usually cooler. So every morning we have the marine layer and about 10, 11 o'clock, sometimes later it burns off, keeps the temperatures down. But once we hit into July, it gets hot. So you Southern California people, hopefully you're staying cool like we are here.
Jackie Horsley, Oklahoma.
Awesome.
90 degrees.
Yeah, gets hot there. Hot and windy, right? So a lot of people heating up. I think we're going to have a lot of great tips for you all here today on our live stream to stay ahead of the heat.
Yep. Also, we have Lanaya Debbie here. And Debbie is out in Maui, for those of you who don't know. But I think, Debbie, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't today your birthday? Can you let us know in the comments if that is today for you? So we always, when we go to Maui and we don't jump over to her island, we often stare at it from the shore and just say hi to Debbie.
Yeah, we got to see her last time we were there real briefly. That was a lot of fun.
But we did get to see her. I think we posted a picture of that. I'm not sure, but we will. All right.
And I love organic gardening. 95 in North Carolina in zone 8 near Charlotte. So, wow, a lot of people dealing with the heat already. So, anything else, Jerry, before we jump in?
No, I was just going to see if Lanaya Debbie is going to say anything that it's her birthday or not, but we'll throw it on if it is. I'm going to jump off.
Okay, my chat just hid. So I don't know how to get it back.
Okay, I can come down there.
Okay, yeah, maybe come down and help me out because I'm not sure what I did, but I hit a button and now my chat is gone. I do have another computer over here, but
let me just pull this up. Here
Okay,
she
thanks.
says, "You are so
Okay.
sweet. It is my
Yes.
birthday. Happy birthday."
All right, wonderful. Well, Jerry's going to help me get my chat back. I have the other computer, so it's no big deal. But the big thing to know for summer heat is you got to stay ahead of it. You want to be prepared because all this work you have put into your garden these past few months, starting seeds indoors, getting everything planted. A lot of you said in the pre-live stream chat that you've got your garden planted, everything's looking good. So let's stay ahead of the heat, right? And put some things in place so that we are not caught unaware. I don't know what happened over here, Jerry. I have this one here, but so anyway, there's a couple of things that oh, they're good. Thank you so much. It was an easy one, right? Easy fix. A couple of things that heat really changes, and the first one is let's talk about how heat changes watering. Because I think when most of us think about heat, we think about, okay, I've just got to dump more water on my garden when it's hot. Now, that might be true, but something for you to know is what worked in May is not necessarily going to work in June as far as watering goes. So in May, we have cooler temperatures for a lot of us, shorter days, slower evaporation. The soil stays moist longer. I mean, when we have a shady day or a cloudy day until 11 or 12, the soil is just not going to dry out as quickly, and I'm not going to have to water near as much. But in June, obviously, temperatures heating up, longer days. I mean, we are absolutely loving the longer days. It's light here till about 8:30. You northern gardeners, you're probably getting 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock. So, definitely you have more hours of sunlight, and the plants do use more watering. Now, it's not that your plants are more needy, it's that the weather definitely changed. So you could see some really common things. I'm sure you've seen them all so far. If you're in hot temperature, things are wilting. Maybe your cucumbers and squash are drooping. Maybe you're even seeing some flowers kind of dry up and drop off and not as much fruit set in the heat. If you haven't seen it yet, it's coming, so be ready for it. So sometimes flowers just drop, or plants just drop flowers in extreme heat. It doesn't necessarily mean they're dying, but their goal in heat is just to survive, not necessarily to provide you with tons of veggies like we would all love to think. So, but just because you see a plant wilting doesn't necessarily mean that it needs water. It could, but something that a little action item that I'd like you to kind of put on your list to do once the temperatures get into the 90s and 100s is just do a little morning garden walk. I like to call it my heat wave walk. And of course, you want to do it in the morning. You could do it in the evening too, but do it in the cooler part of the day. Now, here, our nighttime temperatures cool off even when we hit high temperatures in the middle of the day. So you Texas gardeners might not be quite as lucky, but if you get out in the morning, at least you're not going to have the intensity of the sun. And what you want to do on your heat wave walk is just walk around your garden. And what I like to do is start up on my container deck, which is right above me here, because containers definitely have different needs during heat waves. They're going to dry out a lot quicker. They're going to need watering a lot more. So I like to check my containers first, and then my newly planted transplants, because their roots are not established enough and they're definitely going to need a little bit of extra attention during the heat. But you don't just want to dump water on your plants. Now, if you guys have been watching our videos, you've seen me a lot do the finger test. So check your soil first, and you're going to have to do a little more often in a heat wave because it's going to behave a lot differently than it did not in heat. So I'm sure you probably know what to do by now. Stick your finger in the soil, Jerry.
Go ahead.
Okay, stick your finger in the soil and check if your plants actually need water, because the a stress response in cucumbers and squash and the cucurbit family is to droop during heat. So it might not need water. And if you dump too much water on them, you're going to risk overwatering your plants, and then they could die from overwatering instead of underwatering.
So what I was going to encourage everyone is do take those garden walks. The other day, I was watching Kim. She didn't know I was watching her, and she was walking the garden, and it's so cute because she just transforms into this like Obi-Wan Kenobi or something, and she just kind of will touch a plant and go like that and take a sip of her tea and then just keep walking. And I also kind of think it's recharging for her. I think she also enjoys that time to make connection with her plants and such, and know how to care for them better based on what she learns on these walks. So I bet some of you do that too, and you go into your own little time and space there. Put it in the chat for you, and good for your garden. So keep, start that up if you haven't yet, and keep doing it if you are doing it. So
that's funny, Jerry. I didn't even know you were watching, but you're absolutely right. There is something just mentally refreshing. And I always try and get outside for just a few minutes before I jump into my day, just to kind of walk around and, see how things grew overnight, if they did. And then obviously during a heat wave, you want to check and see if they need water. And then just because I enjoy it so much, I like walking around again in the evening, maybe right before we go to bed or right after I get off the computer for the day or what have you. So you learn a lot by walking around in the garden, whether it's checking your plants for water, whether it's seeing if they have pests and you need some emergency rescue, or whatever it is. But definitely during a heat wave, it's pretty critical that you do that, because containers can go from nice and moist to completely stressed and dried out, just within a matter of a few hours. So you might need to adjust your watering schedule. And that's why I love using drip irrigation, because you can easily adjust your timer to even run every 8 hours. I think mine will adjust to like 6, 8, or 12 hours, or 1, 2, or 3 days, on up. But I always change my containers during 100-degree temps to water a little bit in the morning so they soak through, and then a little bit in the afternoon so they soak through and don't completely dry out. So you definitely will have to be watering, deeper, watering smarter. And of course, always using mulch is just a huge thing during the heat wave, to keep that top level of the soil from drying out, especially on your shallower rooted vegetables. And I wouldn't worry about saving plants that are starting to bolt. That's just kind of a waste of your resources. I've got a bunch of mustard greens actually over here that are starting to bolt. And it's really pretty because the bees are coming in, loving the flowers. But if it was 100 degrees out, I wouldn't worry too much about saving those. I would probably go ahead and pull them out, because I don't want to waste my water on something that's just plain and simple not going to make it during a heat wave. So, let me know in the chat here, what watering changes you like to make when things get super hot and really heat up in your garden, because every garden is different and we all have different tips and tricks and things that can save time and save water, that we can all make adjustments during the heat. One thing I do like to do too is every couple of weeks, I do kind of, especially during hot weather, I do run through my drip irrigation cycles on my Mr. Landscaper system just to make sure everything's running as it should. The other day we were filming a video and I pulled out one of my micro sprayers that was in my tomato and it wasn't connected to anything. So the hose had completely come loose. I had no idea because that runs like in the middle of the night or, early in the morning. And I didn't notice that it needed reconnected again. And that whole area was not getting watered. So always a good idea to run a check, run through and see what you might need to make adjustments on your drip irrigation or connect up hoses that accidentally came unhooked. Okay, so before we dive into the next section, we do have a question here. So let's take a question, and it's from Julie. Oh, okay. Julie was just saying how to ask a question. So if you are new here, do make sure you drop questions in the chat. Monterey team is here, happy to help you with the pest disease control questions, maybe specific issues you might be having, what product you can use to fix that issue. And then, of course, I'll answer any of your garden questions. So do drop question. Jerry sets those aside so that when we do have a break, I go ahead and answer your gardening questions that you might have. So let's see here. Debbie, great idea here. Use a water meter, like a moisture meter, which those are great. They have if anyone is not familiar, they usually have a 12-inch or an 18-inch little stick with the meter on top that you can poke into your containers to see if they're ideally moist for where you live. And you can set your ideal moisture level, kind of calibrate it once you get your moisture meter. It makes it real quick to go around and check your containers and check your garden to see if they need watered. So I also walk all day. I tell the plants how great they are, talk to the plants. So I think that's a great idea too. And I've heard so many people say that their plants really do respond when you talk to them. So kind of crazy, but you know what? They're living things. Julie, me too, Debbie Carr. The moisture meters were 2 for $9 on Amazon. So I find they are so useful to determine my plants' watering needs. Absolutely. One thing that's helpful too is, especially in containers, if you can plant similar plants with similar watering needs together, so that you're not, over watering one that actually needs a little bit drier. So just keep that in mind as you're going through and planting up your containers. Okay, I actually planted a whole bunch of tomatoes yesterday in containers, so I'm super excited about that. And we're going to be doing some videos on container gardening over the next couple of weeks, so make sure you stay tuned for that. And Jerry's coming on here to
Yep, sorry about that. I was
make the
saying hi
announcement.
to Denmark.
Oh,
You haven't
cool.
seen, I'm going to butcher the name, Majken Peterson. Haven't seen in a long time, so I wanted to say hi to that. Hey, I have a really big announcement for you all here today. I think you're really going to enjoy this. Kim and I are going to be doing a meetup here in Southern California at the end of June, Sunday, June 28th in San Diego, in an area called Shelter Island Pier. And it's this it's on the airport side of the island, and there's this cute little park there, plenty of free parking around. There's a cute park, with restrooms. It's a grassy area, so bring your lawns, chairs, etc. There's a little diner there on the pier that's really kind of eccentric and that kind of thing. So we're going to just go there, hang out, have a chance to meet you all, take pictures, kiss some babies, that kind of thing. So if you have a book and you want Kim to sign it, make sure you bring it because we'll have time for that. So we'll share with you some of our YouTube stories and also let you just ask Kim questions, or me if you have any kind of questions about on the camera side of thing or anything. Okay. And Kim, I don't know, I'm not taking my eyes off the camera, so I don't know if people are responding in the chat, but if you want to look.
Yes,
See
there
what they're
are
saying.
several people I'm so excited to hear that are going to
Cool.
be there. Catherine, Trish P, I think she just mentioned she's from San Diego too.
Yep.
And I'll scroll up and see. But if you are anywhere near San Diego, Orange County, even LA, and even Ventura County, come on down. We are so excited to meet you. It's such a gorgeous location too. Hey, spend the weekend there. It's going to be a lot of fun. San Diego is a gorgeous destination.
Yep. So it's 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. and I'm saving the best for last. I'm blanking on his channel, Kim. I can't believe it.
Next Level Gardening. Brian from Next Level Gardening is going to be there with us as our special guest. So you'll get to meet him as well. I know a lot of you also watch his videos. He's got great gardening videos as well. So it is going to be a really good time. So looking forward to seeing you there.
Yep. The neat thing about the neat story with Brian is that we go back with Brian to the mid 2000s, maybe 2016, 18 or something like that.
10 years.
Yeah, when he lived up in the Ventura County area. Now he moved down to the San Diego area. So he is just a brilliant gardener. So you want to definitely go check out his channel as well if you aren't already subscribed. I guarantee that you will like him. He is in a rural area there of Escondido, and he moved away from the city because they wanted to live like that on a little plot of land. So you'll have chances you'll have a chance to meet him and chat with him and ask him questions about his animals and whatever else that he's got growing on over there. So fantastic person. You'll love meeting him and his wife as well. And just a great guy. So we think you really, really enjoy it. This flyer is going to be put up on our community page. Brian is announcing it on his channels as well. So we'll have that for you there right after this live stream is over. That way you can just pull all the data off it. But man, I'm seeing in the chat, just quick glances, I'm seeing people saying, yeah, I'll be there. That's fantastic. We'll have a really good time.
That's right. We're looking forward to seeing you all there. And mark your calendars now. You got 3 weeks to plan for it. And it is going to be a great, great time. We also wanted to mention too, in case some of you aren't aware, that we did start a second channel for our uncut videos, kind of behind the scenes of our garden life, projects we're doing when we travel. Who knows? Jerry might even take some footage while we're at the meetup. You think, Jerry? So
Oh
you
yeah,
might have a
definitely.
chance to be on Uncut if you're at the meetup. But go check out our new channel, CaliKim Uncut. And a lot of our uncut videos are there, as well as we're posting new content and some content that we're calling The Vault. Some content from 10 years ago that I kind of want to bet many of you have never, ever seen. So we're going to post the Vault videos on Thursdays, and hopefully we'll have a new Uncut coming up next week. There's lots of content on there already for you to check out. So head over to CaliKim Uncut, check out. We'd love it if you would subscribe and share it with your friends as well. It's a lot of fun over there.
All right. See you at the end of the show.
Okay, guys, let's jump back into heat waves. So much fun still coming up. You don't want to leave early. We've got some other fun things towards the end of the live stream, but let's jump back into heat. You know, before we do that, though, I do see some questions over here. So let me check back in here. And it looks like we've got a couple of questions here, which I think possibly I saw Clayton answering, what's the reason for curly leaves on my tomato plant? So I think Clayton might have been addressing that in the chat. But generally that happens from either extreme heat, extreme cold, or temperature swings. And we have had so many temperature swings here, going from 95 one week to when we even had temperatures in the in the 40s at night. So things just, you know, the plant is responding to the stress. So a lot of times it straightens itself out. Once your temperatures kind of even out, make sure you're watering evenly and consistently. Drip irrigation always helps with that. And hopefully you'll see some improvement in that one. And here's a question from Tristan. And this question is, what would likely be a culprit to a brown black decay on a yarrow and upright verbena? I noticed mealybugs on it as well, but have yet to treat because I was hoping nature would deal with it. And I'm going to let Clayton I'm going to defer to Clayton and the Monterey team for that one as well. It sounds like some kind of rot. And I know they have a maybe the complete disease control product that could definitely help with that. So I'm sure Monterey, if they haven't yet, can jump in on that one. And thank you very much for that. Okay, let's jump back to sorry, I'm trying to, okay, there you go. Thanks, Jerry. Let's jump back to heat issues. So we talked about how heat changes watering, right? We've got to really pay attention to our watering during the triple digit temperatures or 90-degree temperatures and above. Now, heat also changes your plants during those hot spells. So, and that's usually what you're going to see. The flower drop, slower growth, fewer vegetables, that afternoon wilt or even the morning wilt if your hot temperatures are starting off first thing in the morning, and smaller harvests. And I know a lot of us really panic when we see that. We're like, oh my gosh, my plants are dying. What in the world am I going to do? I spent all this time, right? But not to panic, because there are a few things that you can do besides watering to help with that. And I mentioned a little bit earlier, when the heat hits, super important for you to remember this, your plants shift the energy away from growth and focus on survival. So very important for you to remember that. They just go into survival mode. It's its very first job is survival mode. Aside from reproducing, like we talked about in our cucumber video, when you see those big seedy centers, but in the heat, it wants to survive and just make it through. So when you see the flower drop and the blossom drop, which is a very typical response when it gets into the 90s and especially into the triple digits, you know, it's a very normal response. Now, what you can do, and this is one of my favorite things, I know I talk about it a lot, but I can't emphasize it enough. Get yourself some shade cloth and keep it on hand, because it can literally be about 10 to 15 degrees cooler under the shade cloth. And we talked about that a few weeks ago in our tomato flowers no fruit video. And if you haven't watched that, go back and check it out. It'll give you lots of great information on how you can get more fruit out of your tomatoes if you're just seeing flowers. That can be super frustrating. So with shade cloth here, what that does is basically, it doesn't completely block the sun, but it does block some of the hottest UV rays there. And like I said, it can be about 15 degrees cooler. So think about it. If it's 95 where you live, your tomatoes pretty much going to shut down, be stressed out, not producing. But if you can put shade cloth over it, it can bring the temperatures down to around 80 degrees. So that means that you're going to see less blossom drop. You're going to see your tomatoes keep producing. You're going to probably still have some harvests. Whereas if you don't use shade cloth, you're going to see lots of stress and it could even actually kill your plants. So I would definitely grab some shade cloth. I do get a lot of questions about what percentage to use. It does come in varying percentages. You can get white shade cloth or cream colored. I have black, all different kinds. I haven't really seen a big difference as far as black versus cream. Like some people say, well, black's going to heat your plants up too much. I personally haven't seen that, but we don't have the extreme temperatures that some of you have that are into the hundreds. So just do what you think would work best for your area. But generally, the rule of thumb is the hotter it gets, the higher percentage of shade cloth that you would need, but you still want some of the sun to get through. So I've gone up to 60%. I do have some, I think that's 30, 40, 50, 60. So if it's hotter, I'll use the denser weave shade cloth. I meant to bring some down with me here today and I forgot. I'll use a denser weave shade cloth, which will allow or block more of the UV rays. If it's, just going to be maybe for an afternoon in the 90s, I might use a shorter weave. But the thing to keep in mind is, and again, I talked about this in the tomato video, is you do not have to construct a whole entire structure over your garden. Some Texas gardeners and Florida gardeners I know do that because they leave their shade cloth up all summer. I just drape it over my raised beds and my trellises. I've got a couple bins labeled. This one goes to the chill zone. This piece of shade cloth goes to the garden nook. So I'm not sorting through my shade cloth every single time. Make it simple, drape it over. I've got a bucket of clips I keep on hand. And that way I am all set up and ready to go once I see that there's going to be a couple of days in the 90s or triple digits. So do a favor on yourself. Just kind of a simple June rule is the hotter the weather, the longer it lasts, and the more tender the crop, the more it usually benefits from shade. So just keep that in mind, be prepared. And then generally what I do is I worry about protecting my plants first. I'm not worried too much about feeding my plants during the heat wave. I might do that kind of after the heat wave kind of subsides a little bit. But the Monterey Fish and Grow is a great fertilizer to use all season long because it's got the nitrogen, but it also has the potassium and the NPK, the potassium and the I'm blanking out too there, the P and the K that help your plants flower and fruit and have nice healthy roots. So you definitely want to be keeping up on your fertilizing as you move throughout the summer there. Okay, a great comment here from Lori Malone. How's it going, Lori? Shade cloth is the best. It's the only way my garden can thrive in Hemet, California. Yeah, I know a lot of people have mentioned that too. Like, I would be absolutely lost without shade cloth. So it really is to your benefit. Thank you, Sharon, for sharing that. It really is to your benefit to get yourself set up with some before the heat hits. Now, if you're not able to get shade cloth, in a pinch, I've used old sheets. Like when I run out of shade cloth, it's not going to, allow any sunlight to get through, or even an umbrella. I've got an umbrella over me right now. You can block your containers, maybe with your lawn chairs or your patio chairs. Just find some way to block out that intensity of the sun's heat during those really, really hot days. And trust me when I tell you, you're going to be very, very happy that you took the time to do that. And I know it can be a bit of investment for shade cloth, but it's definitely well worth it. So I would really focus, a little side note here, on protecting the crops that are the warm weather crops. Again, don't protect your mustard greens that are bolting, or your lettuce or your herbs that might be bolting your cooler weather crops. It's not going to do them any good because they're going to die anyway. So protect the ones like your tomatoes, peppers, eggplant, or any newly planted vegetables that might not have their roots established yet and might not quite be strong enough to withstand a heat wave. Okay, so hopefully that is helpful for you. Drop a comment in the chat. Drop shade if you are a avid shade cloth user like I am. It is an absolute lifesaver. I can't emphasize that enough. Okay, let me scroll down. I don't see a lot of questions here. Oh, here we go. Catherine, got a question here from Catherine. I just released a few tubs of ladybugs on my plants, trying the natural way for aphids, but not sure if I should use Monterey total disease on the powdery mildew on those plants. Is it safe? And you know, maybe Clayton or Jennifer could jump in on this one. I know that I do like to use the takedown or the total disease on the powdery mildew. I do like to spray, not in the peak of the day. Obviously, you don't want to burn your plants. And I'm not too sure if that is pollinator friendly or not. I know the takedown, you have to be careful with the pollinator. So, Monterey, if you could jump in on that, that would be great. Wonderful, but it is very effective for handling that that powdery mildew. Okay, guys, we have got something fun here for you. Jerry, go ahead.
Okay. I forgot to link this up before the show started, so I'm going to try and do it right now.
Okay. Oh, the giveaway? Okay, sure, no problem. Oh, and I just gave the cat out of the bag. We are going to do a giveaway, you guys. All right. First Monday in June, we've got to kick off with the giveaway. We actually have a brand new
Okay, I did it.
Power Producer bundle, a seed bundle on our site. And this is specifically to help you keep producing, keep your harvest baskets full through the summer. And they're 50% off right now, all of our seed collections, last day with the code POWER50, including the new Power Producer seed bundle. If you've watched our videos over the past few weeks, we've been talking about this. It's a good one. It's got things that are going to grow fast, like squash, cucumbers, and beans, all put together for you in one bundle, so that when some of your things might start dying out here in the midsummer, especially when the heat comes, you're going to be getting some new things going to keep your harvest baskets full. And we're going to give one away today. So put hashtag, what's our hashtag, Jerry? June in the chat there. And if you're brand new to us, you put the hashtag June in the chat and we do a random draw for this seed collection. So go ahead, put hashtag June in the chat right now. And in just a couple minutes, we'll be doing a drawing. The lucky winner, and U.S. residents only, please, will be sent one of our new Power Producer seed bundles. So super excited to get these out to you. A lot of you have already got your orders in. So if you want to get 50% off, it's a great deal. We like to offer sales because I know a lot of prices are going up right now. That way you can keep your garden planted all throughout the summer. So we've got 35 entries right now. It's always fun to kick this off and see who the winner is. Lots of people popping their hashtag June in the chat. We're not going to stop planting just because it's June, right? Okay, Jerry, we've got 42 entries, which is fabulous. So should we go ahead and draw? Cross your fingers, you guys. Say your prayers, cross your fingers, and you could be the lucky recipient of our new Power Producer seed bundle. Okay, Jerry, let's go for it. Lucky winner is going to be planting squash, cucumbers, and beans all summer long. And these have got some of my favorite varieties, handpicked, especially for your gardens. Go ahead and draw there, Jerry.
You have to do the CaliKim countdown.
Okay, let's draw in 3, 2, and 1. Good old CaliKim countdown. And fingers crossed, guys. Cross your fingers, cross your toes, cross your harvest baskets, and hopefully you'll have one coming your way. And the winner is Nisha. Oh, Nisha, awesome. Nisha, you deserve it for all that good moderating you do. So we're going to send this out to you, Nisha. And fantastic. I know in Denver, it's been so hot already, and I'm sure you need another round planted in your garden. So lucky winner there, Nisha. Thank you so much. Okay, congratulations. Now, we need some more questions, I think, in the chat. We're here to answer your questions and help you deal with your garden issues, whatever you need to keep your garden going strong here in June, here in the summertime. So if you've got a question, make sure you pop question in the chat. Jerry sets them aside for me so I can see them easily, and I will answer your questions. So get those questions rolling. Jerry?
Nisha's on our staff here. She helps us, that kind of thing.
Absolutely.
So can we just...
Of course we can.
I'll pay for it out of my allowance. Just take it out of my allowance.
Of course we can. Let's do another one. Twist my arm. We just want to get seeds in your hands. So, all right, we'll let her roll again. Let's roll it again, guys. If you have not entered yet, now's your chance. If you missed that live stream, that last giveaway, and your fingers weren't nimble enough, type it in now because we are going to do another one. Hard to resist getting more seeds in our garden friends' hands. We just want you to keep growing. We want those harvest baskets full. We just harvested some squash, some eggplant, cucumbers, and oh my goodness, a few tomatoes are a little bit slow because of the cooler temperatures we've been having, but we can't wait to get more coming in. I bet you're the same. All right, we got 36 more entries. So we're going to do another drawing here. So quick. Get your fingers typing away, and we'll do one more Power Producer Seed Bundle giveaway. Are we ready, Jerry? Should we let it roll?
You are. Give me the countdown.
Let's do the CaliKim countdown then. 3, 2, and 1. Here we go. 44 entries, guys. Another chance for another winner. Another chance of planting. It's only June. It's not time to start yet. Who will the next winner be? Gabrielle Castillo, 3656. Congratulations. I love how that confetti flies. It makes it so much fun. So Gabrielle, make sure please that you email me your full name, your address at CaliKim@CaliKimGardenandHome.com. And we're going to get this sent out to you, and we'll get Nisha sent out to her as well. So thank you all so much for entering. We are so excited for you to keep on planting here in June. Congratulations. Okay, let's jump in.
I just wanted to show you this comment from Nisha, though. She's such a sweetheart. You can give it away to someone else. No, you keep it. You're a gardener just as well. Thank you, though, Nisha. We love you. You know that. So Thank you very much. But you're good.
You're going to be harvesting a lot of good stuff there, Nisha. And I know you were doing really well with your garden this year. She sent me some pictures of her blackberries, having a little bit of problem taking off with the blackberries. But the thing is, she's paying attention to it, and she's keeping up with it and trying to figure out what went wrong. So way to go, Nisha. And we're so happy for all the help you give us here in our live streams. You totally deserve it. Okay, we've talked now about how heat changes watering, how heat changes your plants. Let's talk about how heat changes what you plant, right? So if you're brand new to gardening, something that's very important for you to realize is that different things will do better different times of the year. So so many people, just even friends or family members that are gardening, will say, you know what, my lettuce is just not doing well right now. And then I just let them know that lettuce does not like temperatures over 80 degrees. And a lot of people don't know that. So you definitely want to make it easier on yourself to get those harvests by planting the vegetables that will do well in the heat, because no sense fighting nature. You're just not going to be able to grow peas when it's 90 degrees out. Bottom line, your peas are going to die. It's just the way it is. So accept the fact that there are seasons. That's why we eat seasonally, and it's so good for us to do that. And then plant the right things that will actually thrive in the heat. So if you're like me, you love your garden fresh salads, but you have to plant those heat tolerant greens. So those are things like kale, chard, New Zealand spinach, even some mustard greens will last a little bit longer in the heat. Endive does better in the heat. So, grab one of our heat tolerant green seed collections while we have them on sale. Get some of that going, because a lot of times those are long-term crops. They will do well in the summer heat. They also do well when the fall cool weather kicks in. And for us in California, they do really well in the winter as well. So make sure that you have those going. Don't forget to watch our June planting video if you haven't yet, because I do talk about things that thrive in the heat. And this is definitely one of them. The cucumbers, the beans, and the squash will do really well in hot temperatures. And that's why it's great to always be planting a second round. Have your backups going. Last night I was just planting some beans that I started inside the house because the raccoon, which we've had, has been digging up my bean seeds. So I started some inside and was able to get some planted outside last night. They grow fast. You can harvest beans, cucumbers, and squash in about 6 weeks. So if you have things that die, it's always a good idea to have other things going, whether you're starting indoors or popping seeds outside, so that you don't get to July and go, oh my gosh, I didn't plant anything in June, and now I have nothing coming in or everything's died. So these are great ones to plant. One thing I always plant a new round of right about now is determinate tomatoes. I've got a lot of indeterminate tomatoes going. But the determinate ones, not only will they keep producing, through the heat like a regular tomato, but it's a smaller plant and you're going to be able to get a harvest faster. They usually, harvest maybe in 60 to 70 days as opposed to 90 days. So it's always good right about now to start a fresh new round of determinate tomatoes. And I've got some good varieties in the summer harvest seed bundle, in that bundle as well, if you're looking for seeds. The Tiny Tim, someone was just saying in the pre-live stream, that the Tiny Tim, which is about a 2-foot tall tomato, was going crazy in their green stalks. That's a good one to get going now as well, along with the other heat lovers like eggplant. I just planted some okra, which is a gorgeous, gorgeous kind of tropical looking plant and absolutely loves the heat. In fact, the hotter it gets, the better it does. I don't even think you have to use shade cloth on that one. It grows so, so fast. It's an absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous plant, even if you're not a huge fan of okra. So definitely plant the right crops for the right season. And that is one of the reasons why we do offer a discount fairly regularly, because we don't want money to be a big issue from stopping you planting seeds in your garden and having vegetables to harvest. I mean, that would be such a shame. So we really try and make that easy for you. So do take advantage of that sale because it ends today, the code POWER50. So what I would like to know is, what big heat loving summer producers are you planting in your garden right now? Drop that in the chat. And even if you've got some new crops that maybe we haven't mentioned today, it's always good to have recommendations for new varieties, things that are doing well, especially in you way far south gardens like Texas and Florida. I know V was mentioning in the pre-live stream chat, she just started growing Diva cucumber last year, which is one of my all-time favorites. It's in our cucumber seed collection. And for the first time in her gardening life, she was actually able to harvest some cucumbers there in Texas. So that's a great producer. And one reason why I love it so much is because it doesn't need pollination in order to produce. It's what's called parthenocarpic. So if you have any other great varieties, we would love to hear about them. I see here in the chat, Julie's mentioning my cucumbers and melons are germinating and starting to grow in my garden, which is so exciting, isn't it? Isn't it funny how one day you look out and all of a sudden something starts growing that wasn't growing? It happened to me with my squash right here. It was just kind of sitting there not doing that great. And I looked down one night from our deck. I go, Jerry, that squash plant is getting huge and it has baby squash on it. So whether it's a temperature change, a little bit more sunlight, who knows? But it's always exciting to see that. Oh my gosh, we've got some questions. I better get over there and answer those. Let's see here what questions we've got. Here's one from Nat. I have a plant I cannot identify. Do you have a favorite app for that? I can't say that I do. If anyone has any favorite apps, though, let us know for identifying plants. That's a really good question. And I'm sure someone here in the chat could help you out with that. Okay, from Terry. How's it going, Terry? Always good to see you. I hope you can make it to the meetup, Terry. We would love to see you there. If that's not too far for you to drive, that would be so much fun to see you again. Terry's question is, can I plant any berries besides strawberries now? My grand dog loves all berries, especially blueberries and blackberries. You can plant any berry you want now, Terry, especially here in Southern California. My blackberries are just starting to flower. Of course, strawberries are fabulous. Any berry that you want to plant, you can find smaller sizes or plant them in a container. I know you do a lot of container gardening. And yes, you can absolutely get anything going right now that you want to in California. Do be aware, though, that when it gets hot, again, you want to give them some shade cloth because most berries grow beautifully in the Pacific Northwest. Look what the weather is there. It's generally, a little bit on the cooler side, generally speaking, not always. So like my blackberries are in partial morning, like right there, they're in sun. They're usually in the shade in the late afternoon. My strawberries I'll cover once it gets over 85 because they don't like to flower and fruit over 85. Okay, here's a great one from Bowtie Life. I absolutely love the Plant Net app. Been using it for years and it's free. That's great. Google image search serves as a good backup. So great tip there, Dave. Appreciate that. And hopefully, Nat, that will be helpful for you too. Okay, let's see here. Is it too hot? Here's from Ramona. How's it going, Ramona? I bet you it's getting hot there in North Carolina too, right? Hot and humid. Is it too hot to put my blackberry plant in the ground now? It's beginning to fruit, and I have some ripe ones. I would definitely go ahead and get that in the ground, Ramona. You may want to consider, like I said, maybe putting it in your garden in a spot that gets morning sun, afternoon shade, doesn't like super hot weather. And then what I would do, which I want to suggest this too, when you're planting any transplant outside, especially if it's over 80 degrees or so, I like to cover it with shade cloth for a couple of days, maybe even a week if it's really hot, because those roots are not established quite enough yet, and they can't really take up water like a plant that's fully established would. So what I found is once I started doing that, I lost a lot less plants to transplant shock. So give that a try. Let me know how it works. Okay, Suzanne Grimes, is there too much nitrogen in fish and guano for tomatoes to continue through the season? Use Neptune's Harvest Tomato and Veg. Please expound on the nitrogen. Okay, great question, Suzanne. This is a question I get asked so much, and which is one reason why I absolutely love using the Monterey Fish and Grow. It does have a higher number of nitrogen. I believe it's an N. I mean, it's an N. It's a 9. But here's the kicker with the Fish and Grow. It's not nitrogen that releases all at once, like a lot of other fish type fertilizers are. I'm not familiar with Neptune's, but I know the regular fish fertilizer, like Alaska or whatever, has a high N number, but all that N is released at once. With Monterey's, you get some released right away. You get some released throughout the, a little bit more of a time released. And some, I believe, Clayton or Jennifer can correct me if I'm wrong, maybe the microbes help release it, but basically it's not all released at once. That's one reason why you can keep using that throughout the growing season, because it has a good phosphorus and potassium that will help your plants fruit and flower. So it's a one-stop shop. It's really the main fertilizer that I will use that's water soluble. So it's a great one to use all season long. So hopefully, Suzanne, that helps you. Okay, let's see here. From DeBoz. How's it going, DeBoz, there in Ohio? Weekend observation. Sprinkle down Sluggo after planting young pepper plants. Check later and saw the slugs munching on the pellets. I love that. The peppers were saved. So glad I have this product. So that's fabulous. I could not agree with you more. I don't plant anything without sprinkling down Sluggo Plus. And I love it when I see those earwigs and the pill bugs munching on that stuff, and I see no more holes in my pepper leaves. So I'm right there with you. So it's always good to keep a few of those Monterey products that are totally a go-to product in your garden tool shed for that exact reason. So you're, again, being proactive. Okay, question here from Trish. How's it going, Trish? Wondering why my peppers don't grow to full size. Okay, Trish, I think the biggest issues with peppers this time of the year, and I know for me it happened in my case, is I planted them a little bit early because we had such warm weather. And Trish, I believe you said you were in San Diego, so you might have had a warmer, milder winter like we did here. And then we got cold nights. So the peppers do not bounce back quite as well from cold nights like tomatoes do. So a lot of my peppers actually yellowed and just were kind of sitting there and looking pretty measly. So luckily I had another round going. What I did is I pulled the first round out, put them in pots like the one I have here behind me so I could kind of baby them a little bit, and planted a fresh new round. So if you've had temperature swings, that could be the issue. If you don't have time to plant new transplants or new seeds, grab some transplants from the garden center, plant a second round, and then hopefully that will help. I have been also really keeping up with my fertilizing schedule about every 2 to 3 weeks or so to make sure that they continue to grow. But do keep an eye on the weather. Those temperature swings affect your garden a lot more than you realize. So hopefully that'll help you. Okay, let's see here. My blackberries. Here's a great one from Alice Arroyo. My blackberries are producing flowers, but then dry up. Why? Okay, what you might want to do is go back and watch our video called Strawberry Fruit But No Yeah, strawberry fruit but no flowers. And similar reasons why your blackberries are probably producing fruit but no flowers. It either is a couple of different reasons, maybe pollination, heat, maybe you're not feeding enough. So I'd definitely go back and watch that video, and hopefully you'll get some great tips on that. So do check our channel in case you're not getting notifications when we post videos. We're uploading now every maybe 1 to 2 times a week. So if you haven't gotten a notification of a video, go back. Number 1, subscribe, or make sure you're subscribed, because sometimes YouTube, who knows why, unsubscribe you, which is really a bummer. And then click that bell notification to make sure that you are getting notified if you're not already. Okay, do you have any tips from Flourished from strawberries post-transplant? Okay, thank you so much, Flourished, for your question. I would say post-transplant, one of the best things that I've ever done, like I was mentioning a little bit ago, is covering my strawberries with some shade cloth for 5 to 7 days post-transplant until those roots get good and established. It really does make a huge difference, especially if it's, getting to be warmer where you live. And just kind of baby them. Make sure, the crowns aren't covered, number 1. That's a huge, huge issue for a lot of people who plant strawberries. Watch our strawberry video for more info on that, and keep the shade cloth over them for a little bit, and hopefully it'll help those roots get established quicker and help them start producing berries for you. Wow, I can't believe it's already 10 to 1. So this is crazy. I think I've got one more question here before we're going to close for the day. So what a great live stream. How much fun it is today. The Ultimate Gardener, how's it going there? Have you grown the pink variegated lemon tree? It's such a beautiful tree, not to mention the fruit is naturally pink. I have not grown that. It sounds like a gorgeous, gorgeous variety, and how unusual to have kind of a pinkish lemon in your garden. So thank you so much for telling us about that. Really appreciate that. It's fun to grow something a little bit outside the box, not just red tomatoes, but pink tomatoes. I love the kind of the striped green tomatoes like Aunt Ruby's German green, and really fun to not only enjoy the garden for what you pick and harvest, but also enjoy the garden for the beauty that you create. I think that's one of the most satisfying things. In fact, Jerry, I think you and I were sitting on the deck in the evenings, like we like to pretty much close out all of our evenings. And he said, look around, look at everything that you planted and look how beautiful it is. And I was like, wow, yeah, that's true. You might not be an artist like with a paintbrush, but for me, I feel like I'm an artist in the garden, and I love the color combinations. It's so much fun to see the plants bloom. It's so rewarding to go out and harvest and then eat it for dinner. And I want to encourage you all to just get out there and enjoy it. And any little harvest that you're getting from your garden, not only does it taste good, it's satisfying, but it's that much less produce you're buying at the grocery store. And things are getting so expensive these days. So any way that we can bring in our own is just a great, wonderful thing to do.
Kim, I also want to say that Ultimate Gardener is also a YouTube gardener out in Florida. And his channel now, he's been doing this for a while. His channel now is at 10,000 subscribers. That's fantastic. Great. So if any of you have not heard of or watched his channel, go over there right after this. Ultimate Gardener, you can put a link in if you want to your channel, but give him and check him out on his page. He knows what he's talking about, and he's always positive and helpful here on the channel. So congratulations, Ultimate Gardener, and job well done.
Good job. And he's been gardening. He's a young man. He's been gardening. I don't even know when you first started, but I remember seeing you post when you were like little, and now I can see from your picture you're growing up. So it's pretty neat to see that.
He was like 4.
Could be. You're pretty young.
Just kidding, but he was young.
Awesome to see. We can all support each other. There's lots of other YouTube channels on here today, like Bowtie Dave, 808 Ladybug. I don't know if I'm missing anyone, but we can all support each other here in the YouTube gardening community, not only through our gardens, but also by watching each other's content. So fabulous on that.
Yeah, look at this here. Already subscribed. That's great.
Thank you. Thank you. That does mean a lot for us. And this is our full-time business. So any way you guys can support us, we sure do appreciate it by subscribing, visiting our seed shop, and watching our videos, of course. We'd love to see you make comments in the chat. And we really try and answer every single comment. So hopefully we didn't miss any. But if we did, just ask it again and we'll get to it. So yes, don't forget the June 28th meetup in San Diego. Mark your calendars. If you're anywhere within a few hours, we want to see you there. Head over to our website today. Grab your seeds with the Power 50 sale, 50% off. It's the last day. And watch out for our videos this week. Anything else, Jerry?
No, just reading the comments. What a great group. That people are just, encouraging one another and saying thank you for the live stream, etc. I just really, really enjoy it.
Before I forget too, on the live stream, yes, we do really appreciate it. Our next live stream, remember we're second and fourth Mondays now, is June 22nd. So make sure you check, if you forget when the live streams are, check the live stream video descriptions. I have the June and July schedule posted in there, and I'll try and get the live streams posted ahead of time as far in advance as I can, but check the video description, mark those dates on your calendar, and we look forward to seeing you in 2 more weeks on the live stream and on our YouTube channel, on our videos. Make sure you make a comment in between these 2 dates. And thank you so much, Monterey, for being here, and thank you so much, Tanisha, for being here as well. Okay, guys. Anything else, Jerry, before we sign off?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay, we'll see you back here, same time in 2 weeks.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.